to the Artist Behind the Music Aussie series. Today we have Jasmin Bade joining us from Nashville. Welcome, Jasmin.
Thank you. How's it going?
Absolutely great. Thank you for joining me.
Of course. I'm excited.
Yes. So you're from Australia, from Melbourne, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then recently you've made the leap over the sea to Nashville. What brought you over to America?
The 10,000-mile leap. Yes. It's literally, I have a sign that says 9,600 miles to Melbourne that way. Yeah. Well, basically, since I was like 6 years old, I heard this country music singer in Australia. She's called Casey Chambers. And she's quite a big, she's a household name there and quite big here as well. I fell in love with her music and all country, Johnny Cash, Elvis, and the Chicks now known, and decided that's what I got to do. Found out a few years later that they all went to Nashville. So I'm like, Mom, I'm going to go to Nashville. And they're like, okay, cool. They were very accepting. And I started going to country music festivals and like in Tamworth up north and Port Fairy Folk Festival playing. I'd be singing on the side of the street. That's called busking in Australia. You sing and play for money. I was literally 7. There's a photo of me and, singing my way. And then I was 17, came to Nashville for a month, had an internship at the Bluebird Cafe, which was the coolest thing ever, and met some people then that I'm friends with now, and went back home, went to college, came back 2 years ago, and now I live here. That's how it happened.
That's so cool. So what kind of internship did you have at the Bluebird? It
was basically just you get to hang out and watch everyone, and also kind of help out with like inventory and like food running and things like that. Erica, who is like the president of the Bluebird, helped set it up for me. I remember Mum woke me up at 2 a.m. in Melbourne. I just finished high school. I was about to finish high school. I was 17. She's like, Jazz, you're going to get to work at the Bluebird. And I just lost it. Because you would lose it, right? Like, sure. And at the time we were watching the TV show Nashville, and we knew Taylor Swift kind of made her big thing there, and Faith Hill, and got just everyone, and Erica just was like, sure. And Erica like took me in. She would drive me around town. She would take me out to dinner. Like I was 17, didn't have a car. It was the middle of winter. I didn't know anyone or anything. And I got to see Carly Pierce play rounds. I spoke to her afterwards, and I came back to Melbourne and messaged and said, could you send me the chords to one of your songs? I didn't think she would reply. She did. She's like, of course. Would you like me to film you like a video demo? And I'm like, I don't need it, but thank you. Like, you're the nicest human in the world. And I saw Phil Barton play, who's like a legendary Australian songwriter from Melbourne who lives in Nashville. He wrote the Lee Brice song, Woman Like You, and just had an Ashley McBride song come out today. And now he's like one of my closest friends in town. And we write together, and it's all come kind of full circle. But the Bluebird is just like, I get like goosebumps. Like right now, I have goosebumps just talking about it and it's so sad that it's been closed all year, but it's just this, there's just like this energy and this magic there. And to get to hang out every single night. I landed New Year's Eve, and I went New Year's Eve 2 hours after I landed, and I sat on the stools and I watched the New Year's Eve round with like Jelly Roll Johnson. And I just could not believe that like that was going to hopefully one day be my life. And now it kind of is.
Isn't that cool? Hey, what an experience for you, and so inspiring to travel to another country and go to the hottest venue for country music and get to be a part of it. That's like a dream come true.
You couldn't have said it better. And I thank my mom. Kind of every day for it, because it was through her persistent emailing and contacting to Erica and the Bluebird and telling her my story that she was like, okay, we'll take her in. And I kind of lost touch with Erica just through coming back to Australia. And funny enough, I'm talking to you about this right now. 2 days ago, Erica accepted my friend request on Facebook that I must have sent years ago and forgot about. And now we're back in touch again. Oh. And I'm like, oh my God, because I hadn't been back to the Bluebird. It's very hard to get in, and you're playing other shows and you're on the road, and COVID happened, and I'd been in a couple times and chatted to the other people there, but she's not there all the time. She's the president, you know, like,
yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, hey, I'll let you remember me.
Ways of technology, how it brings everybody together, right?
It's insane. It's insane. So I love that place, and you know, will forever hold a piece of my heart.
So good. So you went back to Australia during this COVID crisis, I will call it.
Yes.
Crazy times in life. Yeah. So what inspired the move back there?
Right. So I'd actually been back in Oz December and January doing a little tour, like a solo acoustic tour of this kind of Southeast. And I came back to Nash in February, and I was on the road with this band and doing solo stuff. COVID hit. It was like March 14, kind of. I think it was maybe March 13 that Nashville, like in one day, basically, it shut down. I had come back from being in South Dakota playing shows. I got home. I was meant to have 2 gigs that Sunday night, and both of them got canceled. And I was like, it's not looking good. Next day, Mum was like, I think you should come home. Phil, who's from Melbourne, who lives here, the writer, he was like, look, I think you should go. He's like, if I could, I think I would. But his whole he has a relationship here and his whole life is here. Like, he wouldn't go. And they were just like, babe, nothing's going on here. Come home. And I'm like, I've been back a month. Like, are you kidding me? So I packed up in literally less than 1 day. I left all my stuff in my house with my roommates. I paid rent in Nashville for 5.5 months during 5 months during COVID. But I went back, and it was really sad for me, obviously for all of the reasons that we know, and millions and billions of people had it 100 billion times worse than I did. But that I just got my life back together because I went through a really difficult breakup last year, and it kind of just got back on my feet in Nashville. And then to have to pack up and go back to that Melbourne, and have nothing every day, 15-hour time difference to Nashville. Zoom co-writes were very difficult to organize, like no music friends in Melbourne, none of that. And then Melbourne started to kind of rehabilitate much earlier than America. And my friends would be doing university online and catching up and normal things, but I'm still nothing for me to do. And after several months, I decided I was going to come back after much deliberation, talking to healthcare professionals. We have family friends with the leading infectious diseases specialist of Australia, coincidentally. And she was like, she had to talk my parents off the ledge, and she was like, I think you need to let her go. And great decision I think, because I've been having an awesome time since I've been back. I'm very COVID paranoid compared to other people, but I've still been able to do a million things I couldn't have done if I stayed.
Oh, that's good. Sometimes it's nice too, just to have a reset, get grounded back in,
Yes, it was amazing. I should have added that. I bonded with my parents in ways that I never had, and probably I never will get a chance to again. And like, I'm so grateful for that. And my nieces, I have older brothers and nieces. I got to babysit every Tuesday, and I learned things about them and their personalities and how they're smarter than me. It's creepy. Like 9 and 10. And my other brother's niece and nephew, like my niece and nephews on that side too, and how adorable they are. And one of them, my song "I'm Fine," we can talk about it a bit later if we want, but is about mental health. And she was like, I really like your song "I'm Fine," and I'm like, Bella, she's like 8, I think. I'm like, Bella, do you even know what that's about? And she's like, it's about knowing that it's okay not to be okay. And I was like, you are 8 and you know that.
And that's an important message.
Yeah. And I was like, I just was like, I can't verbalize how it made me feel that my niece, who lives 10,000 miles away from me and is basically grown up, half not knowing me, listens to this like basically every day, this song, and knows this message because I've sent it to her, and she's talked about it with my brother because he sat her down and said, this is why Jazzy's saying this. They call me Jazzy. And this is what she meant when she said, saying all this stuff, and then at the end says, but I'm fine. She's not actually fine. Yeah.
So good. So you released this song last year.
Yes,
And
in April.
what was the inspiration behind I'm Fine?
Yeah, so I had this co-write with my friend Spencer Jordan, who is like crushing the pop scene right now. I actually spoke to him today on the phone, and he's amazing. Look him up. Um, he and I were sitting down, and we were somehow talking about mental health. He at the time had a close friend that was dealing, I think, with bipolar, and I myself has dealt with a lot with anxiety and things like that, and have millions, bunch of friends and family that have dealt with mental health struggles. And we were saying how when I first moved to Nashville, one of the first things I noticed was the stigma around mental health in the South. It was like a hit in the face coming from Australia that's very like progressive and things. And someone told me, they said, quote, only nutcakes go to therapy. And I was like, well, you're talking to a nutcake. And yeah, so we wrote this song because we felt that the media had kind of romanticized mental health issues as well. Like, I don't know if you know that show 13 Reasons Why, that actually had a spin-off in which several teens and just people watching it like attempted suicide. I think one followed through and like died. And horrible things happened because the show glamorized it. And lots of like social media will do things like that. And I don't really want to talk about that so much because I don't want to be doing that right now. But we had to put it in a song and be like, this is not okay. And but we have to talk about it because that's the only way we're going to be able to do anything about it. And the effect the song had went beyond anything I could ever have imagined. Basically, I wanted to put out a song that said this. And then when we realized that this song was actually kind of good, I was like, maybe this song can help me get my visa and help me stay in this country to make more music like this. And it did. And it did well enough to do that. And it got played in like 60 countries on the radio. And and people sent me messages and things saying saying that they'd never had a song that had touched them in a way like that before. And I think because it wasn't like another country love song, and it was a big risk to take to not do that for my first song. But I'm really glad that we did. And it's fun. I saw my friends texting me every other day, like them in the car singing to it, playing it to their new friends. And I'm really glad that we did that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song with a beautiful message. I think it's really important that we have conversations around mental health because it's real and we're human with big emotions, and it's a roller coaster ride, especially right now in life with so many unknowns and so many things shifting and changing that it's hard to navigate sometimes. And I think being really understanding and open and compassionate to allowing people to be not okay and be okay with it.
Yes, 100%. I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Huge, but it's a great song. What would you say one of the hardest things about being in the music industry are for you?
Well, I'm a bit of a type A and a type B person, but the not knowing like where like financially you're going to sit, and not knowing if all this this was a really difficult for me probably until a few months ago, not knowing if all this work is for nothing. So, they say Nashville is a 10-year town. That's a saying here. And if you're putting in all this work every day, all these songs, this recording, financially you're putting in a lot, you're making a lot of sacrifices to the people you love. I miss my dad's birthday this week. I'll miss his 69th birthday, I think it is. And my brother had surgery 2 days ago, and I wasn't there. My brother's been working in the COVID wards. He's a doctor, and I haven't been able to, like a lot of things. And I've made the choice to do this, but it is really hard because maybe I've made all these sacrifices, and then in 7 or 8 years, I'm going to be like, well, I'm still, playing these shows that I don't love, singing other people's songs. And for some people, they love that, but that's not my end game. And that's for nothing. But lately, I realized that, and Erica from the Bluebird, the president, actually told me this. And I remembered the other day that she told me this. And I've just been telling everyone that I invented it. lots of people have said it. Miley Cyrus said it when she sang The Climb, that it is all about the journey. So if you are enjoying the journey, it doesn't matter what the end result is. And I'm absolutely loving everything right now. I mean, I don't love every second of every co-write and every gig that I'm playing, but basically at the end of most weeks, I can look back and be like, there were some really awesome things this week. And also like the last 2 months specifically, since I've been back in August, I've been getting to work with people that literally I Facebook or Instagram message in February because I saw them play and I'm like, this is a fangirl message and you're awesome. Not can I work with you? And this 2 weeks ago, one of those people I got to sit in a room and write with. And like, it's like, so it doesn't matter if that song doesn't get cut. It doesn't matter if their publisher doesn't like it, but they wanted to write again after it. And like, it's just like exhilarating that I have to sit back and think 6-year-old me, if I wasn't appreciative right now, 6-year-old me would hit me in the face.
Yes, that is so true. It is all about the journey, and it's really easy to get caught up in the losses or the not so fun moments. But when we sit down, like gratitude's a huge part of my world, and it's like when we sit down and we focus on the things we're grateful for, all the other stuff kind of starts to sink away.
Yes, exactly. It's all just part. Those bad things have to happen to make the good things good. Because if they didn't, then everything would just be same level.
Exactly. And that's boring, right? Like, get uncomfortable.
Yes. What is it Dolly Parton said? She's like, to get the rainbow, you got to have a little rain or something like that.
You do. There's always a rainbow after the dark, stormy weather, right?
Yes, exactly.
So true. So true. What's your favorite way of writing songs? Do you prefer writing by yourself or writing with other people?
Well, since moving here, for me, it's all about co-writing. And in COVID, though, I did back in Australia, I wrote an Instagram post about this. And I relearned how to write by myself because I lost a lot of confidence in that. And that was amazing. I'd be like 1 a.m. and I'd get out of the shower and my guitar's there. And I'm like, I have a melody, I need to write it. And I finished a bunch of songs, and some of them weren't really bad. And in my opinion, at least, maybe to other people they were. But I love co-writing. I have a couple people kind of in my circle that I write with like every single week, or even 1 or 2 that like multiple times a week. And it'll happen differently every time because that's how songwriting happens. It's never exactly the same. But I lately have often been bringing in a title or like a hook. And so like, this is my idea. I haven't elaborated on too much, but I think maybe this could be the general premise. And then we go from there and think about the story and where the verses could go. And maybe here's a little melody and someone else will sing something. And I often am lately playing the guitar in the rights. I'm by no means a fantastic guitar player at all. I can play your basic chords, but that's it.
And that's okay. That makes you a guitar player. You're good.
I say, when people say, what level of guitar are you? I say Taylor Swift level guitar.
Yeah.
Not even quite that good, probably.
Own it, girl.
Yeah, it's fine. I can accompany myself, but like, I'm not going to be like doing some sick solo, you know?
Right. And that's okay. You don't have to.
I don't need to. Not yet. I would love to be able to, like Lindsay L. I think that's amazing because she's
awesome.
sing amazingly too.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's in my cards.
And that's okay. Like, that's her thing, right? And she owns her thing. So own your thing.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Own it and shine bright. Well, I'm excited to hear you play if you want to.
Thank you. Yes. Do we want, I'll play 2. One's a more ballad heartbreaker, and then the other is very big juxtaposition. It is up-tempo Disney vibe. Ooh. Happy. Which one do we want first?
The heart one.
Okay, yeah, because then we end with a happy vibe, right?
Exactly.
I wrote this with my friend. Sorry, I'm just playing acoustically in here because I didn't have time to work out how to plug in my mic.
You're perfect.
One of the people I write with literally like multiple times a week. Throughout COVID, I also Zoomed her like in the middle of the night. Like, her name is Dana Perdue, and she is like one of my best friends in the entire world. And like, changed my entire life when I met her just over a year ago. And she's like my family in Nashville. Her and Phil, my family here. And I get like emotional just even talking about them because of how much they've impacted my life. And when my mum met Dana last year when I was a bit sick for a while, and she knew what Dana had done for me, she literally saw Dana and just started sobbing because she's like, you have taken care of my child when I couldn't like be there. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you. Like, yes, thank you. But so this was the first song Dana and I ever wrote together. It was after I'd just gone through what I will say will be the biggest heartbreak of my entire life, probably. And I just couldn't stop thinking about it and thinking, I would say, this will go on forever. I don't know if you've been through a heartbreak where you thought that you would never get over it. And she was like, no, everything in life is temporary. It is statistically impossible to feel the same way forever. And we wrote this song and it's called Temporary. Like guitar strings need changing and cigarette smoke needs waving, a love note in pencil that's faded. It's temporary, and 8 a.m. don't look the same. I miss your voice calling my name, but there's nothing I can do to change what's temporary. And that street that I go down is too crowded for me now. We go round and round in this big small town. You didn't even warn me, and how long was it coming? Boy, you've left me lonely, but it's temporary. They say time heals all wounds. You were just passing through. Thought forever was you, a memory I can't undo. Now there's no one to blame, but it hurts just the same. And all of this pain is temporary. Just a sunny summer day when you watch me drive away. Yeah, I guess that place was temporary. And that street that you go down is too crowded for you now. And we go round and round in this big small town. You didn't even warn me, and how long was it coming? Boy, you've left me lonely, but it's temporary. They say time heals all wounds. You were just passing through. Thought forever was you, a memory I can't undo. Now there's no one to blame, but it hurts just the same. And all of this pain is temporary. The street that we go down is too crowded for us now. We go round and round. 'Cause they say time heals all wounds. You just pass them through. I thought forever was you. And now there's no one to blame, but it hurts just the same. And all of this pain is temporary. It's temporary. It's temporary.
Yeah, that's a beautiful song. I love that theme, temporary. It's very interesting to speak. That title has come up a lot.
Yes.
It's very fitting that you performed a song called Temporary.
I know.
Everything is temporary, right? All of this crazy nonsense that we're experiencing right now will shift and will change. And
when I did my first, I did a couple lives when COVID started, and then everyone stopped doing lives, and I'm like, I'm gonna hold back for a minute
Yeah.
And now they've calmed down again, so I feel like it's okay to do them. But you remember, like, do you remember the first month you could not open Instagram without 83 lives happening? That was me. But I played this song, and even though we'd written it about something completely different the year prior, people were like, "Oh my gosh, that's me right now. Thank you, thank you."
Yeah.
Like, because everything is temporary. Even the good things are, but right now we have to remember that the bad things are.
Yeah, the bad things are, and the good things are, which reminds you to celebrate them bigger.
Yes, because if they lasted forever, then it wouldn't
Yeah,
be
this
that exciting.
would be exciting. So celebrate all the things, big,
Yes.
small, all the wins. Own them and
Yes,
celebrate.
totally.
Yeah, so fun. All right, let's hear your upbeat, fun.
Yes. Okay. So I wrote this with Phil Barton, who is from Melbourne as well, and just had an Ashley McBride song come out today. So look that one up. And with Dana, who I wrote the last one with too. So this was actually in relation to that last song. It took me basically a year to realize that heartbreak I went through was actually like a superpower. Because now I've been through one of the worst things hopefully I will ever go through, and anyone can basically throw like anything at me and I will be okay. Like, I do not care. I just know I'll be fine. So we actually call this superpower. When I was 17, I thought I knew everything, but I wasn't even close for too many years. When I looked in the mirror, all I saw were flaws, made some mistakes, had an epic heartbreak. I'm finally in a good place. Sometimes I call my mama, sometimes I break down, but I know I'll be alright, cause I am who I am, and I'm proud of that now. I ain't no Wonder Woman, can't fly up in the clouds. I'm not wearing shiny armor, but I got me, my superpower. Now I see there's so much more to me than being insecure. Realizing what I'm worth and letting go of hurt. Don't need that anymore. Took me a minute, but I'm glad I did it. I'm so much better for it. Sometimes I call my mama, sometimes I break down, but I know I'll be alright, cause I am who I am, and I'm proud of that now. I ain't no Wonder Woman, can't fly up in the clouds. I'm not wearing shiny armor, but I got me, my superpower. Cause I believe in myself, and I can take on the world. I can take on the world. Sometimes I call my mama, sometimes I break down, but I know I'll be alright, cause I am who I am, and I'm proud of that now. I ain't no Wonder Woman, can't fly up in the clouds. I'm not wearing shiny armor, but I got me, my superpower. My superpower. Yeah, I got me, my superpower.
That's a beautiful song, and I love how that really transitioned out of the last one. I feel like that order was perfect.
It worked well. Like, it was really chose that order.
It set you up for the win. That's beautiful. Great songs. I love your voice. You're an amazing guitar player. Own that.
But thank you.
So great. I'll ask you one more question. I always like to end with this one. If you could share one message with the world, what would that be?
One message with the world. Okay, this is from my dad. And I take this with me every single day with every single thing that I do. No matter what you do every day, all you can do is your best. That's it.
That's it. That's all that needs to be said. That's perfect. I love that. I live by that too. Show up as your best version of you, right?
Yeah. No need to worry about what anyone else is doing. Keep your eyes on your own paper. That's another message. But all you can do is your best. And as long as you did that, there's nothing to worry about.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Jasmin, for joining me on the series. It was such a pleasure to chat with you, hear your story, and hear you play live.
Thank you so much for having me. I had an awesome time. I'm obsessed with the sparkle glitter situation I got going on too.
Yeah. The world needs more sparkles. So
Oh, I mean, I want someone to send me one of those glitter bomb things. Like, I want that. I know it's meant to be bad, but like someone to do that to me. Yes, please happen. Please happen.
Always explode. That's awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you.